Parashat Vayakhel, Exodus chapter 35 verse 1 to chapter 38 verse 20. Chapter 35. Then Moses assembled all the congregation of Bnei Yisrael and said to them, These are the words which Adonai has commanded you to do. Work is to be done for 6 days, but the seventh day is a holy day for you, a Shabbat of complete rest to Adonai. Whoever does any work then will die. Do not kindle a fire in any of your dwellings on Yom Shabbat. Moses also said to all the congregation of Bnei Yisrael, This is the word which Adonai commanded, saying, Take from among you an offering for Adonai. Whoever has a willing heart, let him bring Adonai's offering, gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet cloth, fine linen and goat hair, ram skins dyed red, seal skins and acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil and for the sweet incense, onyx stones and setting stones for the ephod and for the breastplate. Let every wise-hearted man among you come and make everything that Adonai has commanded, including the tabernacle, its tent and its covering, its clasps and its boards, its crossbars, its pillars and its bases, the ark and the poles, the atonement cover and the curtain screen, the table and its poles with all of its utensils, along with the bread of the presence, also the menorah for light with its utensils, its lamps and the oil for the light, the altar of incense and its poles, the anointing oil, the sweet incense, and the screen for the entrance of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offering with its grating of bronze, its poles and all its utensils, the basin and its stand, the hangings of the courtyard, the pillars and their bases, and the curtain for the gate of the courtyard, the pegs of the tabernacle and of the courtyard, along with their cords, the woven garments for ministering in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron the Kohen and for his sons to minister as Kohanim. Then all the congregation of Bnei Yisrael departed from before Moses. Everyone whose heart stirred him and everyone whose spirit was willing came and brought Adonai's offering for the work of the tent of meeting and for all its service as well as for the holy garments. So they came, both men and women, everyone whose heart compelled him, and brought nose rings, earrings, signet rings, bracelets, and all kinds of golden jewels. Everyone who brought a wave offering of gold to Adonai. Everyone who had blue, purple, scarlet, fine linen, goat hair, ram skins dyed red, or seal skins brought them. Everyone who could make a contribution of silver or bronze brought Adonai's offering, and every man who had acacia wood of any use for service brought it. Also, all the women who were wise-hearted spun with their hands and brought what they had woven, the blue, purple, scarlet, and fine linen. All the women whose heart stirred them up with wisdom spun the goat hair. Also the leaders brought onyx stones and setting stones for the ephod and for the breastplate, along with the spice, the oil for the light and for anointing and for the sweet incense. Every man and woman whose heart made them willing gave toward all the work that Adonai had commanded to be done by Moses' hand. So Bnei Yisrael brought it as a free will offering to Adonai. Then Moses said to Bnei Yisrael, See, Adonai has called by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. He has filled him with the Ruach of God, with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, in all manner of craftsmanship, to make ingenious designs, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, as well as cutting gemstones for setting, wood carving, to make all kinds of skillful craftsmanship. He has also placed in his heart the ability to teach, both he and Aholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan. He has filled them with wisdom of heart to forge all the works of an engraver, an artisan, and an embroiderer in blue, purple, scarlet, and in fine linen, as well as weaving. They can perform every craft and ingenious designs. Chapter 36. So Bezalel and Aholiab are to work, along with every wise-hearted man in whom Adonai has placed insight and understanding to know how to perform all the labor for the service of the sanctuary, according to everything Adonai has commanded. Then Moses called Bezalel, Aholiab, and all the wise-hearted men in whose minds Adonai had set wisdom, along with everyone whose heart stirred him up to come to do the work. They received from Moses the entire offering that Bnei Yisrael had brought for the work of the service of the sanctuary, to build it. They brought free will offerings to him morning after morning. Then all the skilled men who were doing all the work of the sanctuary came, one by one, from the work he was doing, and said to Moses, "The people are bringing much more than enough for the work of this construction that Adonai has commanded to be done." So Moses gave an order, and they proclaimed it throughout the camp, saying, "Let neither man nor woman make anything else as an offering for the sanctuary." So the people were restrained from bringing more, for the work material they had was sufficient for all the work, with much left over. So all the wise-hearted men among them did the work. They made the tabernacle with the 10 curtains of finely twisted linen, along with blue, purple, and scarlet, with cherubim, the work of a skillful craftsman. The length of each curtain was 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain was 4 cubits. All the curtains had one measure. Then he coupled 5 curtains to one another, and the other 5 curtains he also coupled together. He made blue loops on the edge of the curtain that was outermost within the first set. He did the same along the edge of the curtain that was outermost in the second set. He made 50 loops in one curtain and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that was in the second set, so that the loops were opposite to one another. Also he made 50 clasps of gold and coupled the curtains one to another with the clasps, so the tabernacle was one. Then he made curtains from goat hair for a tent over the tabernacle. He made 11 curtains. The length of each curtain was 30 cubits, and the width of each was 4 cubits. The 11 curtains had one measure. He coupled 5 curtains by themselves and 6 other curtains by themselves. He made 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that was outermost in the first set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that was outermost in the second set. Also he made 50 bronze clasps to couple the tent together, so that it would be one. Then he made a covering for the tent of ram skins, dyed red, along with a covering of seal skins above. He also made the framework of boards for the tabernacle from acacia wood, standing upright. The length of a board was 10 cubits, the width was 1.5 cubits. Each board had 2 supports, joined one to another. He did this for all the boards of the tabernacle. So he built the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards from the south side southward. And he made 40 silver bases under the 20 boards, 2 bases under one board for its 2 supports, and 2 bases under another board for its 2 supports. Also for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, he made 20 boards, along with their 40 silver bases, 2 under one board and 2 under the next. For the back part of the tabernacle westward, he made 6 boards. He also made 2 boards for the corners of the tabernacle in the back, so that they could be doubled underneath, and in the same way to be fixed to the top at the first ring. He did this for both of them at the 2 corners. So there were 8 boards, along with their silver bases, 16 in all, 2 under each board. Then he made crossbars from acacia wood, 5 for the boards on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for the boards on the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 crossbars for the boards of the tabernacle for the back part westward. He built the middle crossbar to pass through, in the center of the boards from one end to the other. He overlaid the boards with gold and made golden rings for them, as holders for the crossbars, and overlaid the crossbars with gold. Then he made the curtain of blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen, along with the cherubim, the work of a skillful craftsman. He made 4 pillars of acacia and overlaid them with gold, having golden hooks, and he cast 4 silver bases for them. Then he made a parachet for the entrance of the tent of blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen, the work of a color weaver. Also he made the 5 pillars with their hooks, and overlaid their capitals and bands with gold, along with their 5 bronze bases. Chapter 37. Bezalel also made the ark from acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He overlaid it with pure gold inside and out, and made a crown of gold for it all around. He cast 4 golden rings for it, in the 4 feet, 2 rings on the one side and 2 on the other. He also made poles of acacia wood, and overlaid them with gold. Then he put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark to carry the ark. He made an atonement cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide. Then he forged 2 cherubim of gold from hammered work at the 2 ends of the atonement cover, 1 cherub at one end and 1 cherub at the other. He made the atonement cover from a single piece with a cherubim on the 2 ends. So the cherubim spread out their wings on high, overshadowing the atonement cover with their wings, with their faces to one another, and the faces of the cherubim toward the atonement cover. Then he made the table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He overlaid it with pure gold and made a golden crown all around. Also he made a border for it, a hand width around, and made a golden crown for the border all around. He cast 4 golden rings for it, and put the rings into the 4 corners that were on the 4 feet. The rings were close to the borders as holders for the poles to carry the table. He also made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold to carry the table. He forged the articles that were on the table, the dishes, pans, bowls, and jars with which to pour, out of pure gold. Then he made the menorah of pure gold, of hammered work, even its base, its stem, its cups, its bulbs, and its flowers were one piece with it. There were 6 branches going out of the sides, 3 branches out of the side, and 3 branches out of the other. 3 cups made like almond blossoms were in one branch, a bulb within a flower, and 3 cups made like almond blossoms in the next branch, another bulb within a flower. It was just so for the 6 branches going out of the menorah. Also within the menorah were 4 cups made like almond blossoms, bulbs, and flowers, with a bulb under 2 branches of one piece, a second bulb under 2 branches of another piece, and a bulb under 2 branches of a third piece, for 6 branches extending out of it. Their bulbs and their branches were one piece with it, an entire hammered work of pure gold. He also made the 7 lamps, along with tongs and censers of pure gold. He made them from a talent of pure gold, along with all the pieces. He made the altar of incense from acacia wood, 1 cubit long, 1 cubit wide, squared, and 2 cubits high. The horns were one piece with it. Then he overlaid it with pure gold on top, on the sides all around, and over its horns. Also he made a crown of gold for it all around. He made 2 golden rings for it underneath the crown, on 2 sides as holders for poles in order to carry it. He made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. Then he made the holy anointing oil and the pure incense of sweet spices, the blend of a perfumer. Chapter 38. He then made the altar for burnt offering from acacia wood. It was square, 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide, and 3 cubits high. He also made the horns and the 4 corners from one piece and overlaid it with bronze. Then he made all the utensils for the altar, the pots and the shovels, the basins, the forks, and the fire pans. He made all the utensils from bronze. He also made a bronze grating net for the altar under the ledge around it, reaching halfway up. He cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the bronze grating, to be holders for the poles. He made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. Then he put the poles into the rings on the sides of the altar to carry it, and he made it hollow, out of boards. He made the basin and the base from bronze, with mirrors from the women who served at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Then he made the courtyard. For the south side, the hangings of the courtyard were finely twisted linen, 100 cubits long. There were 20 pillars and 20 bronze bases. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. Likewise, for the north side, 100 cubits long, with 20 bronze pillars and bases, and the hooks for the pillars and their bands were silver. For the west side, the hangings were 50 cubits, with 10 pillars and their 10 bases, as well as the hooks for the pillars and their silver bands. Likewise, for the east side, 50 cubits long. The hangings for one side of the gate were 15 cubits, with 3 pillars and their bases. Similarly, for the other side, on either side of the gate of the courtyard were hangings of 15 cubits, with their 3 pillars and 3 bases. All the hangings of the courtyard all around were of finely twisted linen. The bases for the pillars were bronze. The hooks of the pillars and their bands were silver. The overlaying of their capitals were silver, and all the pillars of the courtyard were ringed with silver. The curtain for the gate of the courtyard was the work of a color weaver, of blue, purple, scarlet, and finely twisted linen. It was 20 cubits long and 5 cubits high, like the hangings of the courtyard. Their 4 pillars and 4 bases were bronze. Their hooks, along with the overlaying of their capitals and their bands, were silver. All the pegs of the tabernacle and the courtyard all around were bronze. 1 Kings chapter 7, verses 13 to 26 and verses 40 to 50. King Solomon sent for and had Hiram brought from Tyre. He was a widow's son from the tribe of Naphtali, while his father was a man of Tyre, a coppersmith, and he was filled with wisdom, understanding, and skill to do any work in bronze. So he came to King Solomon and executed all his work. He fashioned the 2 bronze pillars, 18 cubits high and 12 cubits in circumference each. He also made 2 capitals of molten bronze to set upon the tops of the pillars. The height of each capital was 5 cubits. Nettings of lattice work and twisted threads of chain work for the capitals were on top of the pillars, 7 for the one capital and 7 for the other capital. So he made the pillars with 2 rows of pomegranates all around on the netting covering the capitals on top of each capital. The capitals that were on the top of the pillars in the portico were of lily design, 4 cubits high. So also the capitals on the 2 pillars, close to the belly next to the netting, were the pomegranates in rows of 200 around both capitals. Thus he set up the pillars at the porticos of the temple. He set up the right pillar and named it Yachin, and he set up the left pillar and named it Boaz. On the top of the pillars was lily design, so the work of the pillars was finished. Next he made the sea of cast metal, 10 cubits across from brim to brim, circular in form, 5 cubits in its height and 30 cubits in circumference. Under its brim there were gourds encircling it, 10 per cubit, completely surrounding the sea. The gourds were cast in 2 rows in one piece with it. It stood on 12 oxen, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, and 3 facing east, and the sea was set on top of them, and all their rear parts were inward. It was a handbreadth thick, and its brim was made like the brim of a cup, like the petals of a lily. It held 11,000 gallons. Then Hiram made the basins, the shovels, and the sprinkling bowls. So Hiram finished doing all the work that he performed for King Solomon on Adonai's house. The 2 pillars, the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, the 2 nettings to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, the 400 pomegranates for the 2 nettings, 2 rows of pomegranates for each to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals on top of the pillars, the 10 bases and the 10 basins on the bases, the 1 sea and the 12 oxen under the sea, the pots, the shovels, and the basins. All these vessels Hiram made for King Solomon in the house of Adonai were made of polished bronze. The king had them cast in the plain of the Jordan, with clay of the ground between Sukkot and Zarethan. Solomon left all the vessels unweighed, because they were too many. The weight of the bronze could not be determined. So Solomon made all the equipment that was to be in the house of Adonai, the golden altar, the table on which was the bread of the presence of gold, the menorah, 5 on the right side and 5 on the left in front of the inner sanctuary of pure gold, the flowers, the lamps, and the tongs of gold, the cups, the snuffers, the bowls, the wick trimmers, and the fire pans of pure gold, the hinges for the doors of the inner house, the Holy of Holies, and for the doors of the house, that is, of the temple, of gold. Hebrews chapter 9, verses 1 to 11. Now even the first one had regulations for worship and the earthly sanctuary. For a tent was prepared, In the outer part were the menorah, the table, and the presentation of the bread. This is called the holy place. Beyond the second curtain was a dwelling called the Holy of Holies. It held a golden altar of incense and the Ark of the Covenant, completely covered with gold. In the ark was a golden jar holding the manna, Aaron's rod that budded, and the tablets of the covenant, and above it, cherubim of glory overshadowing the mercy seat. But it is not now possible to speak in detail about these things. Now with these things prepared this way, the Kohanim do continually enter into the outer tent while completing the services, but into the inner, once a year, the Kohen Gadol alone, and not without blood which he offers for himself and for the unintentional sins of the people. By this the Ruach HaKodesh makes clear that the way into the holies has not yet been revealed while the first tent is still standing. It is a symbol for the present time. Accordingly, gifts and sacrifices are being offered that cannot make the worshiper perfect with respect to conscience. These relate only to food and drink and various washings, regulations for the body imposed until a time of setting things straight. But when Messiah appeared as Kohen Gadol, of the good things that have come, passing through the greater and more perfect tent, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this creation.